Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to have to take this camera view because I accidentally did a little something in week 9 before week 8 could be able to fully go on through, but I will go and give like a quick rundown of what happened in week 8. The Rams defense stepped up and forced a lot of pressure on Brady Quinn, forcing a couple of turnovers. But the Browns did start off hot, scoring 17 points early on. But the Rams were able to come back and win 31-23. The Bears and the Lions for a little bit more controllability in the NFC North. The Lions came back against Chicago and win 32-27, sweeping the Bears. And if the Lions get hot enough and the Bears get hot enough, keeping the Bears from being able to win the division based off of tiebreaker. Then we have the Colts and the Panthers, which went scoreless in the first half. Peyton Manning finds Marvin Harrison for a touchdown. Then we had Adam Vinatieri kicking a field goal in the fourth quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. So the Panthers are down 10-0 going into the beginning of the fourth quarter. They kick a field goal and they score a touchdown to be able to tie it up at 10. And then the game goes into overtime. And 46 seconds left into overtime, they send out John Casey to kick the game-winning field goal from 51 yards out. And he nails it. 46 seconds left in overtime, and we came very close to our first tie in this whole entire franchise mode. The Giants and the Dolphins. Dolphins offense basically went anemic, scoring only 10 points. While the Giants scored in every single quarter, 3 touchdowns, one in the first, one in the second, and one in the fourth, while Lawrence Tynes kicked 2 field goals. Basically the hero for the Giants this season, because he's made 16 field goals already halfway through the year. He is on pace for 32 field goals made. Now granted, he's kicked 22 field goals, so he's on pace right now to kick a total of 44 field goals, but 32 out of 44, you'd take that as an NFL team because, hey, your kicker is at least making kicks, Sure, he's still missing a few, but he's human. You can't expect him to be perfect. Sure, it's a video game, but it's also simulation, so you can't really expect him to fully make the kicks. Raiders and Titans, I just basically destroyed the Raiders 255-0. So, with how the Tennessee Titans are doing in real life at 1-10, please let me have this, because we are not doing well. We are on pace for the first overall pick, and I'm not even 100% sure if we should even keep the number 1 overall pick, because that's looking at the draft class. There are good players, but the question is, are those players going to stay for their senior year? Hope to possibly be even better? Who knows? College players can be unpredictable, especially with how NCAA has the NIL nowadays. They could just stay for their senior year, make money there, before going to making more money in the league. Eagles and Vikings. The Vikings said that the Eagles were like a poor team. You're saying an undefeated team is poor and not worth your time? The Eagles made them not worth their time at all because they routed them 44-17 in the Metrodome. And yeah, maybe the Vikings should learn to focus on playing on the field and not talk trash about an undefeated organization. Steelers and Bengals. The Steelers pulled off a win, 24-17, which kind of shocked me, but it's starting to feel like Mike Tomlin is going to push this team to 8-8 and begin virtually what he ended up having in real life, his current streak of consecutive seasons of being at 500 or better. This is probably that turnaround the Steelers are going to have. Let's see how that continues on forward. And yeah, Cincinnati, hopefully that this loss isn't going to hurt them too bad overall, because they do need to try to stay afloat in the AFC North with the Steelers, with the Ravens. The Browns, they're kind of being the 2000s version of the Browns where they're not trying all that hard, you know. After that, we have the Bills and the Jets, in which the Bills were just kicking field goals, although down 17-9, and they kick a field goal to be down 17-12. And my question is, why would you kick a field goal when you're down 8 and not trust an offense that was actually moving against the Jets? You know? And, like, you just kick a field goal over going for the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. Yeah, 2-point conversion isn't all that reliable to make. You know, maybe I should do a stats video in week 10 once every team's already played 9 games, because there are teams with bye week in week 10 to show which teams go for 2, which teams don't, all that fun stuff, you know. But then we have the Chargers and the Texans, and the Chargers needed this win. Texans kind of needed the win too after getting absolutely blasted by Tennessee the week before. But Chargers rout the Texans 35-10. LaDainian Tomlinson doing LaDainian Tomlinson things, making the Texans defenders look silly. And also a pick six thrown by Matt Schaub, as if he needed to throw any more pick sixes after his performance the previous week against Tennessee. Buccaneers and Jaguars. The Jaguars kicked 2 field goals and got a safety for their 8 points. They didn't score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion for their 8 points. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay did get a 2-point conversion after scoring a touchdown themselves. So, yeah. 14-8, but not in the typical normal-ish way of scoring it. Saints and 49ers, this game was back and forth, and the 49ers were able to pull off the win, 28-21. And overall, I mean, the 49ers are actually going on a little bit of a streak, which is good, considering they need to try to keep up with the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Rams, the Redskins, trying to keep up with all of them to be in this 6-team NFC playoff, because this is 2000. Because in this universe, we're in 2007, where 6 teams make it and the first 2 teams get the first round bye. Not modern day, where there are 7 teams. And speaking of the Redskins, they surprisingly beat the Patriots. You know, that defense held them to under 200 yards, which the Redskins defense showing up and scoring a few touchdowns for them to be able to beat New England. A little surprising, but, you know, Tom Brady will bounce back. I believe it will. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers in his debut in this universe for the Green Bay Packers, after they benched him for Brett Favre throwing a lot of interceptions, Aaron Rodgers throws a couple of interceptions himself in a 30-9 drumming by Denver, because Denver, they just decided, hey, let's go after the inexperienced guy, teach him a couple of things, you know, like, hey, how about you throw it to the right team, you know? But that is week 8. I apologize for not being able to show the box scores, because I accidentally messed up and might have accidentally started a game, realizing I didn't do the week 8 stuff. And I turned on the light so you can see my face, instead of with the light being off where you can be able to see the TV screen better. But that is our week 8 review. We are now officially halfway done, even though we do have some teams that have only played 7 games, but that's because they've had their bye weeks. And right now the teams that have not had their byes yet are the Chicago Bears, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Miami Dolphins, San Francisco Giants, the New York Jets, the New England Patriots, St. Louis Rams, Houston Texans, and that's it. So that's this is a different version of the Week 8 preview, but I will see you all next time.